When working with children and young people, being confident in leading games is really important, and it will help you in building relationships with the children and young people and also in managing the group's behaviour. In this video, we are going to cover 4 key rules that anyone leading games needs to follow. Rule number 1, bring your game face. The most important thing to do when leading a game is to show excitement, both before the game when you're telling the group what's going to happen, and throughout the game as they join in and play. People are drawn into things that look fun or exciting, and showing that you are looking forward to the game will help get the group interested and wanting to join in from the beginning. Sometimes young people will find it hard to join in with something that they think might make them look silly to others. Showing that you are up for being funny will help make the group feel more comfortable and willing to join in. So smile, be expressive and look happy. It's also really important that your game face demonstrates confidence. You need to be able to project your voice and gather the group's attention quickly. If you're working with a large group and don't have a loud voice, you may find it helpful to have a whistle or some other way of quickly getting the group to stop and listen up. When you're leading a game, you will need to make quick decisions. If there's a game that involves your judgment, be fair, but make those decisions quickly. This will help avoid arguments or stop people from getting bored, and it will help the game flow and be more enjoyable. Rule 2, be clear and concise. Before you explain the rules to a game, you need to make sure that the whole group is paying attention. One good way to get the group ready to listen is to get everyone into a circle. This ensures that everyone can see you, that everyone can hear you, and it's easier for you to see when everyone is listening. Be prepared to wait for silence. Make sure that everyone, including other leaders, is ready, that they can hear you, and they're ready to listen. When you explain the rules, make sure you know them off by heart. You may want to practice them, give them to another member of the team, identify if any of the rules are unclear, and then make them clear. Any rules should be simple to understand. You should be able to explain each rule in a sentence or 2. If you're working with younger children, be mindful of the fact that they're unlikely to be able to understand complex games or rules. So in mixed age groups, try to keep games as simple as possible. You may want to include a short practice round. This helps demonstrate the game and means that you can make sure that everyone understands what they need to do. This is especially helpful for people who may be more tactile learners, who learn best by doing rather than listening. And as you go throughout the game, make sure that you are consistent in enforcing the rules. Young people often have quite a high sense of justice, and they'll quickly point out if they don't think you're being fair. Keeping to the rules will help give boundaries to the game and increase the enjoyment for the group. Rule 3, keep everyone involved. Games are really good opportunities for fun, learning and developing a sense of community. Any games which involve an individual sitting out for a long period of time can end up being disruptive to the game's purpose. Games which involve children or young people being out are generally best played quickly and over a few turns so that everyone has more time playing the game. If you do have games which involve people being out for longer, think about how you can involve them in the game in some other way. Maybe being part of the umpire team, trying to catch others out or keeping score. This will help the whole group remain focused on the game and avoid people feeling left out of the fun. Another good way to keep everyone involved is to use people's names. Make sure that you know the names of everyone in the group and use them as much as possible, both when calling people out and in general encouragement throughout the game. This will help the young people feel noticed and like they're part of the team. Also, make sure to involve other leaders. They could be part of the team, they might be involved in running the game or keeping watch. Try to avoid games where leaders are stood around the outside of the room, not joining in. This sets a poor example to the group. Children and young people are less likely to join in if they see the adults not joining in. Finally, rule 4, know when to stop. Your number one job in leading a game is to make sure that everyone is safe. Before the game, you should make sure that you have removed or minimalised any potential hazards, making sure that chairs are pushed out of the way, that there's a clear space to play and safe boundaries to the playing area. If it's not safe or becomes dangerous at any time, stop the game and make it safe. You will need to be decisive throughout the game. Watch out for anyone trying to cheat or play unfairly. Call them out and make sure that everyone has a fair chance to play. You may need to have other leaders watching the group and who are prepared to intervene with individuals so that you can focus on the group as a whole. It's also important to keep an eye on the group to make sure that the games do not drag on for too long. Be aware that some young people may want to continue playing, whilst others may be bored or starting to disengage. Be ready to stop the game and move on to something different, and that will help keep the group engaged and avoid disruptive behaviour. When leading games with younger children, games are often best kept short and sweet, whereas you may be able to play a game for longer with a group of older young people. But whatever the age of the group you're working with, know your group well and know their limits. It's generally best to stop a game whilst it's still fun, then keep playing until you finish what you had prepared. Know your group and know when to stop. So to recap, our 4 rules are: number 1, bring your game face. Look confident and excited. Rule 2, be clear and concise. Keep rules simple and easy to understand. Rule 3, keep everyone involved. Make sure that leaders and young people stay engaged. And rule 4, know when to stop. Keep everyone safe and try to finish games on a high. With these 4 rules in mind, you can make sure that all the games you play are fun, meaningful, and help to develop relationships.